Hello everybody, thank you for coming back to the channel, and in this chapter I'm going to ask for some tips from your side or some opinion. So here's the side view of the fuselage of the Antonov. As you see, I've built a tail plane there already, and I'm building up the fuselage. So I've got to decide where I'm going to put all the electronics and all the components. The original design, as you can see, this is made for a 1 cubic centimeter motor, one of the internal combustion ones. That I'm not there yet. I don't have that skill. So I'm going to do it electric, and let me show you the components that I have. Important thing is to show this line. I'm going to put actually here this file, which says here the model to balance fore and aft about this line. So this is about the center of gravity, so I'm going to put it there. Now, important thing is also that these motors are typically quite heavy, and the arm, so the distance between this motor and the propeller and this and the center of gravity is actually quite small. So there's a significant risk of it being tail heavy. Also because it's planked. All the fuselage actually it's planked over, and of course then a big part of the wing is also behind this point. So I need to concentrate as much weight as I can ahead of this line, and I probably need to put in some weight, which happens. So if I go from the rear, let's say, I intend to use the 9mm servos for the tail plane and for the elevator and for the rudder. So my plan is to put them here right aft of the cockpit. I want to do the cockpit as also the battery hatch, which I'm not sure how I'll do it, but that's another problem. So I'll be putting here 2 servos, one for the elevator and one for the rudder. That's the plan. I'll also be using then the smaller servos for the wing. I'm not going to put them here because they'll be sitting in the wing somewhere. These are smaller ones, so I'm hoping also to save a little bit of weight there. So that'll be then the servo location, 2 of them. Then in the battery hatch, I'm going to have to put, of course, the battery. I have 2 models of battery, one which is heavier and probably better, and one which is smaller and maybe not so strong. But if I go with a heavy one, I would try to fit the battery in here into the hatch. As you can see, it kind of fits. It probably has to go in at an awkward angle or something like that because of the hatch. The hatch will also take up some space. So that is where the battery will go, or maybe I'll put it in vertical. I'll see how I do it, and as much forward to as close to the front as possible. So that's then the battery is going to go in there. The receiver is also going to go in there. I have here a 4-channel receiver, quite small. I might go then for the 6-channel. I have to pull it out maybe of another model, but I'm hoping that the 4-channel receiver also works, which I'll probably try to squeeze in at the bottom, because once it's installed I don't really need much access to it, and maybe I can make it that the antenna sticks out the bottom somehow. That's the receiver. Then is the ESC. I've got this 30 amp ESC, which is kind of a standard and cheap, so but it's big and with very long cables, so that's also something that's got to be taken into account. Also, talking about cables, I'm going to need a Y splitter wire for the ailerons. On this one I'm going to need to change the connector because the batteries I have they have this other connector, so I'm going to have to change that out. But anyhow, then the idea would be to squeeze this thing somehow here, again as far forward as feasible. Okay, so that is the location of the electronics overview. But now the big question is what motor to use. Now I'm going to brush all this aside, and I've got 3 motors. My first choice is this one. This one I got on my own. This one is a 2822 or 2204, I'm not sure, 1400 kV. Not very heavy, kind of. I don't mind it being heavy here up front because I'm going to need it, as I mentioned. I think it should be powerful enough, but again I'm not really sure, so I'm open to your recommendations. This one I had in the Piper cab and you recommended to switch it out, so I did. And then I have 2 motors that Ray sent over. I'm going to call this one the black motor because it's black. I've got this other one that I'm going to call the red motor because it's red, and I don't know if you can see the details here. It says simply here prop 5 to 6 inches, 11.1 V, which I think that's a 3S. My batteries are just 2S, 2 cells, so I'm not sure if a 2-cell battery would actually drive this one. This one is also nice and small, quite light. I'm not sure what power this would have. 2805, I don't know the kV marking on this one, but it looks also quite strong, like it's hard to turn. I don't know about this one. This one is not so hard to turn, so I'm not sure if that's an indication or anything. Calling that one the red motor. And then I've got this other, which is much heavier, significantly heavier, also from Ray, because he sent over a lot of material, so thank you again, Ray, once again. You're making possible a lot of these models. And this one, being heavy, it's good in terms of weight and balance, but I have no idea what are the characteristics. I don't know if I can tell just from the size. I don't see any markings on it. I'm not sure how strong it would be. I might be able to do like some thrust tests if I build some kind of a jig and try to put a propeller on, but I can't really tell. So this I'm going to call then the green motor. I like the idea of the black motor because it's small, I think it's powerful at 1400, and I like also the idea of the green one because it's heavy. It's going to help me with not having to put in too much nose weight. This might be actually enough because it is significantly heavier. So the question out to all of you, if you have time, if you have an opinion, is what motor should I use? The black one, the red one, or the green one? In any case, thank you everybody for watching. If you have your comments, for sure I do appreciate that, and in the meantime I'll go on and build up the fuselage structure. Thank you and see you next time.